The Carnivortex, the Carnivortex. How did I get sucked into this Carnivortex? The Carnivortex, the Carnivortex. How did I get sucked into this Carnivortex? Beef, butter, bacon, eggs, eat fatty meat. Sounds great! The Carnivortex, the Carnivortex. How did I get sucked into this Carnivortex? The Carnivortex, the Carnivortex. Just give it a shot and you'll be carnivore next.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Carnivortex, the show where we delve into the deep recesses or maybe shallow recesses of my mind. I am NoCarbBarb, and I, along with the HighFatCats, who are my managers, editors, and producers, are excited to bring you a really awesome guest, none other than Kerry Mann. Welcome to the show, Kerry.
Thank you, Barb. It's an honor to come on with you. I appreciate it.
Now, I am so impressed that you are willing to come on a show as crazy as the Carnivortex, or maybe it's not crazy. I don't know.
I'm excited. It sounds like a lot of fun. And I should have left my door open, but I shut my door because our cat is pretty loud as well. So probably bring him in here.
But the HighFatCats made a ruckus the other day when I was recording. So you never know. Sometimes they are just working on their circadian health and sleeping 18 hours at a time. And other times they're all in my business and running all over things and trying to knock stuff over. So if there's a big crash, it could be like the lights that who knows. So we'll see. Hopefully they will behave. But again, I am so honored to have you as a guest on here. I know that your time is in high demand. You're everywhere promoting the documentary. And so before I assume that everyone knows you, will you please just introduce yourself and tell us about what you're doing?
Absolutely. Yeah. So my name's Kerry. I live in Wisconsin. I've been doing carnivore. I'm approaching 1,000 days, kind of near the end of the year, but it's completely changed my life. I've reversed so many chronic health issues that I had for years and years. The big ones being depression, anxiety, and congestive heart failure. Carnivore's just completely changed my life. I decided to do a documentary to share the story. I shared my story on my YouTube channel, and then I started hearing so many other stories that it just blew my mind. Stories of healing. When I initially thought carnivore was just kind of a cool way to drop some vanity pounds, I never realized that it was really more about healing. And so I decided to do a documentary, and that's what I've been doing for over 2 years now. We've been traveling all around the world, filming incredible stories of people healing by addressing their metabolic health and changing their diets. And yeah, we're doing a documentary film, and we're doing a series, and we're doing a book as well.
That's a lot. So you made a change in your diet, and then you had amazing results, like reversing congestive heart failure and anxiety and depression. I mean, that's pretty big and life-changing, but wow, how do you go from, okay, I've changed this and I'm feeling a lot better, to now my whole life is dedicated to this and I am spending my time and my family's time. We're all working on this documentary. How did it go from just a, hey, I'm going to drop a few pounds, to this is my life?
Yeah, that's a great question because it's really overtaken everything in my life for sure. And that wasn't necessarily the intention early on, but it has become that. It's become sort of my purpose, my mission in life. I think it stems from just the horrible depression I went through. It was 10 or 15 years of depression that just got worse and worse, and anxiety that was just debilitating. It was horrible. And I tried every medication, but I was literally, I always say literally because I have several teenagers that live here, and a lot of times we can get dramatic with our words. But when I say I was hopeless, I'm not being dramatic. I was literally without hope. And never in a million years would I have thought that it was just the food I was putting in my mouth. I thought it was a chemical imbalance in my brain. I thought I was defective. There's something wrong with me. I'm just always going to be this way, and medication is the answer for me. So it was just such an epiphany for me, and I'm very thankful. I'm grateful. I'm very blessed. A lot of the healing came for me quicker than maybe for most, But with that said, I've seen so many people heal their mental health with eating a proper human diet. So I was just quite passionate about it, realizing just how dark and hopeless my life was for years and years. And then realizing there's millions of other people walking around in the world like I was, and they're completely oblivious to this. And it just seems criminal to me, a tragedy to me, especially when it's not that hard. It's not like I was on that medication for 10 or 15 years and it barely touched my depression. And a couple of weeks doing carnivore didn't cure my depression, but a couple of weeks, I had noticeable improvements in my sleep and mood, which is huge when it comes to depression and anxiety. And it wasn't much long after that, a couple of months, where my depression just completely lifted. So that was really the driving force, the passion behind it. But then when I just started, I was kind of extremely foolish, Barb, if I'm being frank. Initially, I'm just like, we're just going to do a documentary. Like in my head, I'm like, I got a phone, right? Like we'll just film some of these stories are so powerful. It doesn't have to be some big cinematic movie, right? I've never done a movie before. I've done some video work, but in my head, I'm like, we could film this on my phone. It's the stories that matter. And we'll just put some of these stories together. And maybe if we're lucky, we'll get Dr. Chafee or one of these good doctors to agree to participate. It started as that, and then I started hearing more and more stories of healing. So many powerful stories. I'm like, this is so much bigger than I ever realized. And then the doctors were also generous with their time and agreed to participate. And then I realized, like, nobody else has done a carnivore diet documentary like this, where we're focused, or even a keto documentary. Most of the documentaries are mainly focused on the science, and we're focused on the stories. And I don't see a lot of other documentaries doing that. And that's what drives me. That's what inspires me. When you see a movie and it's a true story or it's a powerful story. So that's what we decided to do. And yeah, it got bigger than me. I realized we only have one shot at this and we have to do a really good job. And if we want to reach millions of people, we have to do it properly with cinema grade cameras so that we can stand a chance to get on a big streaming service like Netflix. And then the carnivore community is amazing. People started coming out volunteering, yourself included. So we've had an amazing team of people volunteering and helping do this. That's taken it to the next level. It really has taken over my life. Sorry, this is a long answer, but I'm thankful for it. I really feel like this is my purpose, my mission in life is to do this. There's nothing more powerful than sharing this and see someone find the healing that I found. There's no greater feeling in the world. And I I would say, I was gonna say, I do it for free. I am doing it for free. Like it's a passion project. I don't make any money off the documentary. I feel like the reason I was so sick for so long is just greed run amok. Big food, big pharma, big medicine. Every incentive is finance, is money, is making more money. So to be able to do this for the passion and alongside the community and do it for the goal of helping people find healing versus the goal of trying to make money off of it is something that I'm happy that I'm able to do. And yeah, hopefully that answers the question.
No, that was a great answer. Well, and I don't know. I don't think you were foolish, but if somebody were to say that you were, I would say it would be definitely foolish in a good way. And your enthusiasm and passion have always shined through. And I haven't told you this before. I've never shared this, that when I first started Carnivore and I was just listening to things, I came across you being interviewed on a few podcasts and I was like, who is this guy? Like, he is so excited. How can it, how can this way of eating really do that much? So I was skeptical at first, but then the more that I learned and I realized, and as I began to heal, I was like, man, he's got it right. I mean, this is something. So let me ask you, how did you decide on the name of the documentary, Healing Humanity?
Yeah, that was a collaborative effort. I think in large part due to my good friend Adam, who's helping me film the documentary. We brainstormed and went through all sorts of ideas, and this one just really stuck. And it's kind of an audacious title, Healing Humanity. Like you hear that, you're like, how dare you? Like there's 8 billion people on this planet. But if you really dig into the name, there's nuance to it. There's several different meanings. Like healing humanity can be as simple as looking in the mirror, healing yourself, healing your own humanity kind of thing. The other reason it was powerful is one of the things I found is so many people do carnivore for one reason, oftentimes weight loss. And then they're like, wow, I healed my type 2 diabetes, or I healed my autoimmune disorder, or I healed my depression. But deeper than that, so many people realize that in some way, it sounds cheesy or whatever it is, but in some way they've healed their own humanity. They feel like a human for the first time. I hear that over and over again with people I interview. I feel like I'm really living now, where before I was just kind of going through the motions. And then they're happy about it, like I was. And then they're also a little bit upset, like, wait a minute, you mean to tell me I could have felt this amazing, like living my life to the fullest potential my entire life, and I was kind of cheating myself of that? And then you see around in the world that most people are going to go through their entire lives never feeling this good. So it had a lot of powerful reasons and different meanings, I guess, is what kind of led us to it. So, and it draws a lot of attention with the shirts, especially with the tagline, the power of proper human diet. Like, I had a shirt I was wearing for a long time that said, I eat only meat, ask me why. And that was a little bit of a conversation starter, but I think a lot of people were just like, this guy's crazy, steer clear. This one gets more conversations and it gets more eyes, because people are like, healing humanity, that sounds kind of powerful. And then they're like, the power of a proper human diet. And then you can see them kind of thinking like, am I eating a proper human diet? What is a proper human diet? Like, it asks some questions. So yeah, I like it on multiple levels.
Well, when I was thinking about talking with you and thinking about healing humanity, which is a very bold statement, what would you think if someone said to you, Carrie, you're not healing humanity, you're really damaging everyone?
Yeah, I get comments like that on my YouTube channel quite often. um, I would say that it's just not true. Like, you can look at the people that are doing this and just seeing incredible healing in almost every case. It's very rare. Like, I have yet to find someone that's doing legit carnivore that hasn't found some sort of healing or benefit from it. It's I've said this before, but I can't think of anything else in the world. I try to be careful because I get excited and passionate. I'm like, I don't want to overhype this, but I argue with people like, show me any other diet. I hate calling this a diet, weight loss regimen, intervention, medication, anything where you see healing like this. And it's not just individual healing, it then ripples out. Someone sees me healing and then the spouse is doing it, or the son is doing it, or the daughter's doing it, and it spreads from there. So I would disagree with that argument that this isn't healing, that it's hurting people and not healing people. It's just precisely the opposite from everything I've seen.
Well, and do you think people have that perspective just because of ignorance, that they don't understand really what a proper human diet is?
Yeah, it's a sad truth that we've all been misled so much on what a proper human diet is. I was just arguing with someone the other day about fiber. I still get questions about fiber. This is great. You're doing great on carnivore, almost 1,000 days, but you still need fiber. It's like, it's
Well,
in,
Carrie, you haven't been to the bathroom in 1,000 days. Is that what you're saying?
right, right. I'm perfectly regular. I've never been healthier in my life. And if you look up fiber, it is non-digestible and non-essential. So it's like, why do we need it if it is those two things? But we're brainwashed and conditioned to believe these things, that around plants too. We got to have plants or we're going to die. Here I am 1,000 days later. I haven't had a single plant or vegetable. I'm absolutely thriving. So part of it is overcoming that. And I get it, because when I started, I'm like, this is nuts. You're just going to eat meat. Like, this is absolutely crazy. When I get into conversations with people that think what I'm doing is crazy, I just like to talk about, this is what humans have ancestrally done since the start of time. It's the most natural thing. And if you use common sense and you think about it, I've got some trees and a forest out here. I always tell people, like, what do you think happened here in Wisconsin in the woods? You go out there, it's leaves and trees and deer and turkey. There's nothing else to eat unless you're going to eat some pine needles or some leaves off the ground. And then 6 months out of the year, there's snow on the ground. We primarily have eaten the way that I'm eating since the start of time. What is new and different is the standard American diet. And during that little window of time that everybody's doing that, what they consider normal, and what I'm doing is abnormal, everyone's sick, sicker than they've ever been before. Heart disease is the #1 killer. 1 in 2 people are going to be diagnosed with cancer in their lifetime. Children with fatty liver disease. So it's the most normal thing, ancestrally speaking. And then the other argument I always make to them is, given all of the options, 60,000 products in the grocery store we have right now, There is nothing cleaner, given the broken system we're living in, than eating meat. Even if you're eating grocery store meat, it's the most uninflammatory, nutrient dense, healthy food we can be eating. Some people will want to argue, what about vegetables? It's a million times better than vegetables if you look at it, the nutrients you're getting. You can get everything you need in the proper proportions from a fatty steak. You can't do that with vegetables. You would die. You'd have to supplement. So uh, when people are willing to have the conversation, those are some of the things that I talk about with them.
I mean, do you find that people are truly concerned about you damaging yourself for adopting this lifestyle and going down this road?
A little bit. I think part of it is we've been fed lies so long that are ingrained in our brains. Like, you eat meat, it's going to clog your arteries. And so much of that has been debunked over and over again. But it's become a social norm. It's accepted by everyone. And so when they see me doing this, some of them, it's out of the goodness of their heart. They are genuinely worried. Other people, I find, it's more misery loves company. It's kind of like alcoholic, like telling someone else, oh, you can just have one more. Come on, drink with me. Have another drink with me, where they kind of feel bad, and either it's conscious or subconsciously, but they kind of feel bad about what they're doing, and they see you doing something drastically different but succeeding. And a lot of us carnivores experience of that. You go to a family reunion or get together, and people are like, come on, you can have one cupcake, or you can have one. That drives me nuts, by the way, Barb, because you would never do that if someone was overcoming a lifelong alcohol addiction or hard drug addiction. You would never try to tempt them with that, but it happens with food. But I think people are just misled, and for the most part, they mean well, just because they don't understand what the truth is.
Yeah, then you don't have people telling an alcoholic, well, you just need to balance your addiction. I mean,
Yeah,
that's something that comes up a lot of people like, well, you need to eat a balanced diet or you
yeah.
need to do a balance. Well, what exactly does that mean?
Yeah. Have just a little bit of the addiction in moderation, which we don't do with any other addiction. You'd never tell an alcoholic that quit after 42 years and alcohol completely destroyed my life. This is an example. This didn't really happen, but you would never tell me that, well, just have a little beer on Saturday. You'll be all right. But we do it with food all the time. And it's so much harder with a food addiction because we all have to eat. We don't all have to drink alcohol or do hard drugs, but we all have to eat. So, and we're doing it multiple times a day. But, yeah, I think it's just a education thing. A lot of people don't realize what they're doing when they're saying those things. But I believe that's a big part of the problem is the whole just eat in moderation thing or eat a balanced diet. When people are willing to discuss that with me, family and friends, I've had discussions with people that have said just that to me. Well, why can't you just eat in moderation? And then I talk about, well, there's millions of species on this planet. Not one of them has to moderate for the sake of moderating. A cow eats grass. We don't go give it some kale and Doritos and say, just you have to have that as well to moderate. And the cow is just thriving. And meanwhile, the only species on the planet that are suffering and sick are humans. And the pets we feed, the foods they weren't intended to eat. Every other species is eating what it's intended. And it's not moderating or eating a balanced diet for the sake of it. And they're just thriving. Usually when I have those conversations, they're like, oh, what? That does kind of make sense. It sounds kind of crazy, but if people are willing to talk about it, there are a lot of logical arguments to these things we accept as social norms.
Well, just now, if this ever makes it into the wrong hands, you know that they're going to produce kale flavored Doritos. It's coming.
Right. The
Next
next
Super
best
Bowl
thing.
ad.
Yeah.
Well, something you said about naming the documentary and just the different meanings that healing humanity has. And one of those being that, kind of applies to each of us in healing ourselves. Thinking about damaging everyone, if you take that same concept, Carrie, before you found this way of eating, how are you damaging everyone? And I've had the privilege of meeting some of your beautiful family. What effect did that have on your life?
Yeah. Oh, great question. Uh, I'll start with the happy part. So after Carnivore, one of the best pieces of advice I had interviewing hundreds of people at this point was from Dr. Baker. And he said, he very passionately pointed at the camera, be an example to your family. And I felt really good about that because I'm like, I feel like I'm being a good example to my family now. But then to answer your question, Barb, prior to doing carnivore, I was not a good example to my family. I was fat, sick, and depressed. I was on the couch. I was angry, road rage, quick to anger, things like that. I was not a good husband. I was not a good father. I'm not making excuses for it. It is what it is, but part of it is maybe a little bit of an excuse or justifiable. But one thing I've come to realize is when all of that was happening to me, it wasn't because I was choosing to be lazy and lay on the couch or choosing to be a glutton and just eat more and more food. Part of that was, but a big part of it was just I was sick. I was metabolically sick. And so many times when we talk about carnivore, it drives me insane. It's looked at as a temporary regimen to drop some pounds. This is like a weight loss thing. And it's not that. It fixes your metabolic health. And as a side effect, your weight will go to wherever it naturally is, but it fixes everything. But my point is, you're sick before that. So I remember when I was before, people would say, oh, just, you're depressed, you're horrible, just go for a walk. And that's like telling someone with the flu or pneumonia, go for a walk. You're sick. It's hard to go for a walk. Or just go to the gym, run on the treadmill to lose some weight. You're overweight. You need to lose some calories. You're sick. It's hard to do those things when you're sick. So I look at it before, like I have a lot of regret. There's not much I can do about it, but I was not a good father. I was not a good husband. I wasn't present. I wasn't in the moment. My wife, Jen, was managing things for me she was doing the role of mother and father and caretaker around our homestead and a lot of things I would do. I'd have a little bit of energy and I'd try to do something. I'd get really excited. I mean, we were still doing YouTube videos then. Let's go cut down some firewood. I'd put on the gear, start up the chainsaw. I'd go cut one piece and I'd be panting for air or coming back into the house and giving up after just a couple minutes just because I didn't have the energy to do it. With the congestive heart failure, I was always tired and fatigued. So I was really a shadow of the human being I was before, and I was not anywhere near a good example. I was a bad example to my family for sure. So that was one of the other profound changes in my life, and one of the reasons why I'm so passionate about this now as well, because it's completely not just changed my health, it's changed my whole family.
Wow. So do you think that the damage, so to speak, from all of those years of living and becoming metabolically sick, do you think that damage can be reversed?
100%. Yeah. And it can be reversed pretty quickly. Carnivore is not a miracle. I tend to get really passionate and excited about it. It's not going to heal everything. But for me, I can confidently say it has. It's literally reversed my congestive heart failure and my lifelong irregular heartbeat that I had since birth. People still don't believe me when I post YouTube videos about it. I keep posting on my YouTube channel. Here's my actual medical records. Here's what the cardiologist said. You no longer have evidence of cardiomyopathy. It's reversed all of those things for me, but the biggest one being the depression, anxiety. Never in a million years did I think that would reverse that as well. And when we get to the root of it, and this is one thing, Barb, I learned filming this documentary. I go in to film all of these different doctors. We have 9 doctors and experts with an expectation, right? I'm going to go talk to Dr. Ovedi about heart health. I'm going to go talk to Dr. Tony Hampton about type 2 diabetes. I'm going to talk to Dr. Rob Kiltz about women's health, fertility issues. But the common thread I found after doing this with everyone is they're so passionate about their particular specialty, but it's all the exact same thing. It's all the exact same advice. Fix your metabolic health, because you fix your metabolic health, it heals all of those things across the board. They're passionate about it for their particular specialty, but you fix one and it fixes all of those. And that's definitely what's happened to me. And it's what I've witnessed so many other people. They do carnivore for one reason. They fix everything. They fix everything.
And your amazing wife, Jen, is now carnivore, and love to see her doing things with you and your family. And I know you've talked about this before, but how has going carnivore reversed that negative, I don't know the right word for it, the things in your family and your role in that family, how has that changed since carnivore and even since Jen's gone carnivore?
Yeah, it's changed everything for our family. Jen's been carnivore over 500 days now. I can't believe it. She's doing incredible. First of all, our marriage is so much better. And I'm not attributing all this to carnivore. I'm attributing it to both of us not being sick anymore. We're both healthy. Before this, she was sick also. She had migraines all the time. She had fatigue all the time. All of that's gone. But so if you imagine I'm sitting here, plopped down on the couch, depressed. And then if I have one good day, she's in bed with a migraine in the dark for hours and hours. It was always just one thing or the other. Now there's none of that. So it's a lot better when you don't have two sick people, right? It's hard to have a marriage when both of us are sick. But further than that, we both have more energy now. So we're doing things we never did before. It used to just be, where are we going to go out to dinner? Where are we going to go out to eat? It was always food, food, food. Now we're going hiking. We're going to museums. We're going to comedy clubs. We're doing things that we never did before. And we wouldn't have had the energy to do either. We would have been like, oh, that's going to be cool. Let's go to a comedy club. I'm too tired. I'm too depressed. With the girls, like I mentioned before, I feel like I'm a better example to my family. I am fixed my metabolic health. They've seen that. A lot of them they're all doing it. All my girls are eating a proper human diet now. And for them, it's just been incredible because we have triplets plus one. The triplets are 18 now, which I can't even imagine. But Emma started at 16. She's been doing carnivore for 2 years now. And lots of drama with 16-year-old triplets in the house, as you could imagine. There still is drama, don't get me wrong, there still is, but it's so much better. They're just like that carnivore zen. You don't have this roller coaster with your sugars going up and down and the mood and the crazy hormones. And it's the best, if I could use one word to describe our house now versus before, is just calm or peace. It's just so much more peaceful. So it's changed our whole family. And the biggest thing is with Jen, we had conversations before. The thing that I encourage people to think about with your family and your spouse is don't look at the immediate. Jen and I took a long-term view on this. We took the long-term view of, yes, it's great, Jen, that you're healing your migraines and the lymphedema you had in your legs is going away on carnivore. Those are all immediate things that are happening now. But imagine that you didn't do this or I didn't do this. Where would we be 3 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now? I don't know if I would even be here. My health was declining so bad. Where are we going to be 20 years from now? In a mobility scooter? In a long-term care facility? Are we going to be able to walk our children down the aisle? Are we going to be there for our grandchildren? We started having conversations like that. And I have no doubt, and again, this isn't overhyping carnivore. So many people in their old age, they suffer with mobility issues and arthritis and depression and cancer and Alzheimer's and dementia. All of that, every single one of those things is from poor metabolic health, chronic inflammation, insulin resistance. All of those things we no longer have eating carnivore. I've interviewed so many people that are thriving into their old age. That was one of the things that got me really passionate about the documentary too, by the way, early on. I did a video early on with an older gentleman, and I had a ton of comments come through from people in their 70s and 80s. Many, many people, so many, I couldn't believe it, that were thriving on carnivore. It blew my mind. I'm like, I can't imagine at 75 being like, I'm going to just eat meat now. But a lot of people do, and they're like, I feel 20 years younger. I feel incredible. And that really touched my heart because I've seen my grandparents in particular work 2 jobs their entire lives, get to retirement age. My grandfather had a massive stroke, paralyzed half of his body 1 year into retirement, and then died a couple of years later. And you see that over and over and over again. I have no doubt if he was eating a proper human diet, none of that would have happened. So it's completely changed our whole family, the whole dynamic, the energy, everything. You can't really have regrets, but all of us do. I wish it would have happened sooner, but everything is part of a plan. I've learned that going on this project. So it's an awesome part of the plan. It's the thing I'm most thankful for. And the last thing I'll say on it is being an example of a family, having all of the peace and calm and all of us getting together and all the energy is great. But one of the best things is being in the moment. I feel like prior to carnivore, I was never able to live in the moment, and time just, whoosh, it went so quick. Now I'm able to stop and pause and really live in the moment, which I don't feel like I was doing prior to this.
So, have your girls ever expressed to you what the change in you and Jen's marriage has meant to them?
Oh, that's a good one. I don't know if they've come outright and said it, but I think I can feel it. And I think they know it as well, just because a lot of people feel like I forced our girls to do carnivore. And it's not true at all. It's not even close. My daughter Emma was the first one. My daughter Lily did it for a little while in the beginning, but my daughter Emma was the first one. She's been doing it for 2 years. It was 100% her idea. And I think that was because she saw me doing well. And the other girls, Katie and Alyssa, they picked it up much later. I think that was because they saw mom doing well. So I think the example has rubbed off on them. I know that they feel this is way better than before, for sure. But yeah, I don't know if they've come right out and said it before, but it'd be an interesting like family conversation to have for sure.
Well, and I had the privilege of getting to know Emma at the Tampa meetup, and I would never have guessed that she was someone that was uncomfortable talking to people or didn't want to be around others. And she's the one who said, Barb, you have to do a YouTube channel. And I'm like, I can't do that. She's like, no. And so young and having a purpose. So, I mean, your girls are thriving, and it's a beautiful thing what's happened in your family. So I was thinking about, you've been on carnivore and you actually told me 927 days. So I believe that you turned 45 last month. Is
Yeah,
that right?
that's right.
45 years young. So you have been alive now like 19,465 days. So if we divide that out, you've been carnivore like 4.762% of your life. Okay. But think about, so we'll round that up to 5% just to make it easy. But think about how impactful that 5% of your life, what what would you say the weight of that 5% has versus the prior years of your life?
Wow. Barb, that's awesome. I never thought about it that way. That is so cool. It's everything. It's literally everything. That little 5% on the end there, it's completely changed my life. It's changed everything versus before. Yeah, I mean, the happiest moment of my life was having the girls, and that was amazing. But then it was a lot of depression and issues going most of my life, just health issue after health issue. The last 4 or 5% has been the most impactful, life-changing. I still don't even believe it. I joke around. I've said this before, Barb. I'm like, I feel like I'm going to wake up in a mental hospital and my wife's going to be rubbing my head, Jen, and she's going to be saying, sure, honey, you just ate a bunch of meat and now you're filming a documentary all around the world and you're hanging out with Dr. Berry and Dr. Baker and Dr. Chafee. And it's all just a dream. It really is kind of unbelievable.
There's no place like home. There's no place like home.
Right, right. Exactly.
Yeah, and that's an incredible thing even though you've only been carnivore shy of 1,000 days, what that change has done. And so as I was thinking about, damaging everyone, and I'm a word nerd. So of course I have to look up the definitions of everything, what does damage mean? And something that I hadn't thought about, one of the other definitions of damage is damages are recompense. Like if somebody sues you and you win and they give you 200 grand in damages. So I was thinking kind of like, well, you could say that carnivore is damaging everyone in a way that it's giving those who've gone carnivore that recompense. Like it's paying it back. So years of illness where people have all different kinds of issues that they're trying to recover from, it's kind of like carnivore enables them to get some of that back. So in a way, to me, carnivore damaging people is great if it's giving back. What do you think about that?
Yeah, no, I love that. I've always had this thing where everything in life kind of balances out. And maybe that's why I'm so passionate and fired up about this because I had a lot of suffering and trauma throughout my life. And maybe it's that's the 4% is coming because all just everything amazing and good has happened in that little 4 to 5% just this last 2 years plus on carnivore. It makes sense, but it's the thing that's cool is it's not just me. I mean, I see this for so many people that I've interviewed as well, other individuals, just so many people saying like, this is life changing. This saved my life. Like I'm living now where I wasn't living before. It's amazing. So that's the reason I'm so passionate about it. And I'm with you. I think when we interviewed Bill, he said something like the greater the suffering, the greater the reward or something like that. I feel like that's what's happening with carnivore.
Yeah, and Bill Knott, what an amazing man. Just and I think it's so wonderful that carnivore not only has healed him in so many ways, but it's enabled him to share his beautiful heart with so many people, and that never would have happened without carnivore. So I think that the benefits of this far outweigh even the physical healing that we have or mental healing. It's just that impact that multiplies the more and more people that are able to hear about it and to make that change. So, with this documentary, what excites you most about thinking that it's going to be public next year?
People finding healing like Bill found. There's nothing greater than that. Just doing some of these stories on my YouTube channel and sharing some of this and then seeing the comments afterward, or actually people sending me videos saying they saw my 30-day video, they tried carnivore and it saved their life. There's nothing more powerful than hearing that. Seeing someone get hope for the first time, there's nothing more powerful than seeing that. And that's what I witnessed with Bill. And what you just mentioned there was so true, Barb. When I filmed Bill, he's the first person we filmed for the documentary. Emma and I flew out there and filmed him. He was not just trapped in his house, he was trapped in his bed, he was trapped in his body. He was just stuck in the corner of the bed of the little house, not much bigger than my office here. And I remember him saying, he was praying to God before, what is my purpose? If I'm just stuck here eating in my house for 5 years, I haven't doing anything. And then when we filmed him later, and he's got his YouTube channel and he's sharing his story, he's now half the man he used to be. He's down almost 350 pounds. He overcame depression, anxiety. So many people are inspired. They're like, if Bill can do that with all of the constraints and meat in Alaska is expensive and he's stuck in his house, then I can do it. And then Bill was saying when we interviewed him later, maybe that is my purpose in life. Maybe God put me here to go through that suffering to come out the other end with this lesson and be able to really truly inspire people and have people find hope and healing through his incredible story. It's like, that's precisely what you're doing. That's what's happening. He's getting comments on his YouTube channel. Bill, you saved my life. Your story saved my life. You motivated me. There's people starting YouTube channels just because of Bill. So that's what I'm excited for with this documentary is I love Bill. I talk to him I was just chatting with him. I talk to him every single day. He's become a best friend of mine. But then I realized there are millions of other Bill Knotts out there in the world right now, oblivious to this. And that's what I'm excited for when hopefully, if they see the documentary or someone shares it with them, that they get hope and healing like Bill was able to. Bill was hopeless with like, there's no other option. And so many people are hopeless like that, myself included, that thought, medication didn't work. There's no other option. And it's like, we have this tool. I just want people to be able to have the tool as an option. Give them that hope that they didn't have before.
Well, and it's so powerful that you are bringing all of these different stories because not only are there millions of Bill Knotts, there are millions of Carries, millions of Barbs, there are millions of all of us that have experienced suffering, whether it's physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, all of those things. And it's just amazing to think that healing is not that far out of reach. Now, will everybody heal immediately? Is this a cure all? No. But I think it opens up a possibility. And if nothing else, when you talking about for years, you just laid on the couch and you didn't have the energy to do anything and you weren't looking at what the next 2 years, 3 years, 5 years was going to look like. You couldn't. I mean, you were metabolically sick, but if people just have the energy then to be intentional about their lives, like what are they doing? What is their purpose? What does God want from them? I mean, I think that is something that is worth exploring. I mean, hey, You can eat meat for 30 days. Can you try it? I mean, if that was a possibility, why wouldn't people be willing to just give it a go?
Yeah, I'm with you. That's my advice I give to people. This isn't 30 days is like nothing. It goes by so quick. It seems insurmountable. It seems crazy when you're first doing it, but I always encourage people, if you're thinking about it and you're scared to start carnivore, you should probably be more scared of whatever led you to considering carnivore in the first place. Why is your body chronically inflamed for years and years? What were you doing before that made you even think about doing carnivore? And where are you going to be 5 years down the road if you continue doing what you were doing before you considered carnivore? Those are things you should truly be scared of. I always tell people too, it's like, it's a miracle any one of us are alive. You are a powerful human being. Eating meat for 30 days, you could do it. Anyone can do it. There's nothing special about me. I do like steak and meat, but there's nothing special about me. Anybody can do it. What'll be a big tragedy is if you go your entire life scared and you don't do it, and you just continue doing what you're doing, and then you get to the end of your life and you've never really felt like what we feel like, just full of energy, just living for the first time. So that's how I try to encourage people around that discussion.
And I think that we are all looking for easy. We want everything to be easy. But I think that if it really were truly easy, we wouldn't be happy either. That
Right.
we would be bored. So I think that I've heard it said many times, carnivore is simple but not easy. But I think the beauty in that is finding out how to make that work and be sustainable. So how important do you think community is in this carnivore lifestyle?
Well, if I'm being honest, when I first started carnivore, I was kind of cynical with community. I'm like, what do you need community for? You just eat meat. How hard could that be? And I was foolish and I was an idiot and I was completely wrong, and I'm willing to admit it now. It is hugely important because, especially being carnivore, you are really the weird one out. You're the odd one out. Every single holiday is revolves around food and eating and company events and food. So you are really the odd one out. And to be able to do something like this alone is very difficult. I feel like community has helped so many people. When I started, I dabbled around a little bit. After a while, I was in Dr. Barry's community and it was a great. My wife Jen was in Bella's community, SBG, and that really helped her because of her background. She was vegetarian for years and years, and she could relate to Bella going through sort of the same path. So there's lots of great communities out there. We have our Healing Humanity community now where we're trying to help people as well. And yeah, I think it's hugely important. And if you can't afford a community, you don't have to be like, well, then I can't do it. There's free communities out there. Dr. Kiltz has a free community. There's Facebook groups. I remember for a long time, my wife Jen was on, I think it was called Meat Sisters on Facebook. It was just a free group. For the longest time, my community wasn't an actual group that you had to go and sign up for. It was just my YouTube became my community. I'd watch Dante Ferrigno, I'd comment on his videos, I'd watch Dr. Barry, I'd watch live streams, and I would interact with individuals through the comments and the community that way. But it's a huge part of it. It's one of the, when people say, if you have any advice for me doing carnivore, that's one of the big pieces I tell them is community is critical. And yeah, I think it's huge.
Did you ever imagine a couple of years ago that you would have a new circle of friends, of best friends? You talk about Bill Knott, and I'm thinking about Adam Lacey, who's been integral in the documentary. I mean, did you ever think that, wow, I'm going to meet some new people, they're going to become my best friends, and I'm going to be working alongside them all of the time?
Never in a million years. It's a great question. I think this goes back to why am I so passionate about carnivore? I was the polar opposite. The property we live on, our homestead here, I strategically found a property away from people, as far away from people as possible. Like I was like a hermit. Like I didn't want to, I had no friends, didn't want to, and I didn't want any. I didn't want to talk to people. I just, whatever, stick with the family kind of thing. And now it's completely the opposite. I yearn for community and connecting with people. And it's really a remarkable thing that I see with so many people that are doing carnivore. This human connection is so much stronger when I'm not metabolically sick. Is there something else to it? I don't know what it is, but there's some people say it all the time, but I, I would argue with people, try to find another community where people are more friendly, more nice, more supportive of each other than the carnivore community. I don't think you can do it. I don't think it's possible. It blows my mind too. I just never had any friends. Now it's just like more friends than I deserve. Like it's a huge blessing. It's like one of the biggest unintended consequences of carnivore is just this community and the friends and the relationships that I've made in just a short time. It's not even 1,000 days yet. I've got like lifelong friends now. It's amazing.
Well, not only are you going to reach people with this documentary, but just in the process, think of how many people that you've reached and connected doing these meetups to talk about healing humanity. I mean, I never realized the impact of community until I went to a meetup. And then it was like, oh my goodness, this is wonderful. These people are wonderful because you're bringing together people who have a common purpose and they want to be healthy. They want other people to be healthy. And it's like being in a room with 200 of the best versions of yourself.
Yeah. Oh, well said. It's so good. It's just like goodness too, because it's like you said, what is the main motivation for the majority of the people there? They want other people to be happy and find healing and live their life to the fullest like they are. It's such a beautiful thing. I have fallen in love with the meetups. That is another thing. Prior to carnivore, my anxiety was through the roof. I didn't want to get on conference calls with people. I'd lose sleep the night before, let alone going to a conference with hundreds of people, let alone going to a conference and speaking in front of hundreds of people. But I am absolutely hooked on the meetups. I highly recommend anyone go to them. You can do free meetups. You can arrange your own meetup, even if it's just a little small one. The really cool thing, Barb, with the meetups that I found too is when we'll do a meetup in a certain city, we'll leave, but we'll got an email newsletter and we keep track of folks. And they'll often they form and then they keep the community, they keep the group going after we leave. A lot of people go to these meetups like, wow, I didn't realize there were this many carnivores in whatever Montello, whatever city I'm in, or Wisconsin, central Wisconsin, and the groups kind of remain after that, which is really cool, really exciting. I gotta ask Adam, I've lost track how many meetups we've done. It's probably been 15 or 20 maybe all around the country. We did one in the UK, we did one in Canada. Yeah, it's been incredible. I highly recommend it.
Oh, definitely. And so you guys are going to be at Hack Your Health in November?
Yes.
Yes. And so are you speaking there?
Yes, yeah. So we went to Hacker Health last year. It was the first event. It's the first meetup, first event, first anything that I went to that was carnivore keto related. And we spoke there. It was my first time public speaking as well, and it was I got hooked after that. It was so much fun. It was very nerve wracking, but we had a little room on the side, and it ended up being standing room only. And it was the last day of the event, so we didn't think we'd get that many people. And there's people standing around the edge. I look up, and Dr. Chafee walks in, and Dr. Kiltz is in the audience. It was so cool. But yeah, we are speaking there. It's in November, and Adam and I will be speaking, and we're hoping to have several of the doctors as well come up and do a panel and speak, because we filmed 9 doctors and experts for the documentary, and many of them are going to be at Hack Your Health. And this is just a recent addition, but we're going to have a booth. There's going to be a Healing Humanity booth, so people can come up and share their stories. We're always looking for more stories. We're done filming for the main documentary, but we're still going to be filming for the series, and then we're also writing a book. And so we're always looking for more stories so people can come up to the booth and share their story if they're interested, or just meet us and say hi kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, this is the beauty of your project is that it doesn't have an end. It's not like, okay, the healing stops on this day and the documentary's released. No, I mean, it's going to continue to go and grow. And it's really exciting to see where that is ultimately going to go. Who knows? A
Yeah,
few years from now, I mean, can you even imagine 3 years, 5 years, what that's going to look like?
I can. I'm so excited for it. I'm super excited for the documentary, but the series and having an episode on every health issue is so awesome. But then to your point, down the road, years down the road, what we'd also love to do is have an episode on each person. So if like Stephen Lashbrook, if his story really inspires you, here's an entire episode of just Stephen, or Dr. Barry. We filmed with him for Dr. Chafee as well. We've got enough to do a couple episodes just with the Dr. Chafee episode, Dr. Barry. But then you get into more of the nuanced issues. Like I interviewed a gentleman on my channel. His name is Arn, A-R-N, incredible man in his 80s, a veteran, suffered with depression for decades and decades and found carnivore, total healing, like miraculous healing. And now he's helping other vets with healing PTSD, mental health issues. And I'm like, we could do a whole episode on veterans and mental health and eating a proper human diet. So yeah, I'm so excited for even just different seasons or years down the road, a couple years down the road. I could just imagine this keeps going and going for sure.
And then next year, I understand that you're going to be at Meatstock.
Yeah. Gatlinburg, Tennessee. I'm so honored to be going to Meatstock. I don't know if anyone has seen the lineup for Meatstock. I don't know. I've become good friends with Scott, who runs it. He's incredible. I don't know how he lines this up. It is literally like if you want to know which one of your favorite carnivores that you watch on YouTube or social media, doctors, experts, individuals is going, for the case of Meatstock, you have to ask who's not going because it's like everybody's there. Every single Dr. Baker, Dr. Barry, Dr. Chafee's going to be there. Dr. Berg's going to be there. Michaela Peterson is going to be there. It's an incredible lineup. I didn't get to go last year, so this is my first time going, but we're going to not only be speaking there, but we're going to be doing a big Healing Humanity like kickoff with the documentary there. So I'm really excited for that and thankful for Scott for inviting us out there.
Yes, Scott Everson is magic. Behind the scenes, he has woven a fantastic community and put so many people together. And people just don't realize how much work that has gone into it and his passion for people and community and healing. So I would highly encourage anyone to go to Meatstock. Get your tickets. They're going to go fast. I went this year. It changed my life.
Mm.
And I can honestly say I made some lifelong friendships there that I never would have made if I hadn't gone. And just the information, the people, the food, everything was wonderful. So I'm excited. That's in May and in Gatlinburg. And yeah, everybody should be there. Well, Kerry, what other things do you have on tap, and what are ways that people can find you and connect with you?
Yeah, so we recently launched our newest trailer. It was a little bit of a different trailer. It was to kind of show the scope and scale and all of the people. We filmed 60 interviews all over the world. So people can find that at healinghumanity.movie. And if you want to help us out, if you can't afford to donate and you want to help us, just sharing that is huge. Share it on Facebook, send it to your friends if someone needs healing. We have an email newsletter at that same link, healinghumanity.movie. It's a free newsletter. We'll send you updates. We're going to be working on a new trailer. The final trailer, trailer number 3, is going to be the more accessible one to try to get the public to come out and watch the film. Our editor's finishing up editing the film through the end of the year, and we hope to have it live early next year. But you can buy our shirts, you can donate, you can do all of that at healinghumanity.movie. We're also working on a Healing Humanity book. And Barb has been a huge part of the book. I'm so thankful for Barb because we have an audacious goal for the book, and I think we're going to reach it in large part due to Barb's help. And the book is just thousands of testimonies of healing across different health issues. And we're hoping to launch that before the end of the year. We'll see. We're really close. There's so many incredible stories. The cool thing with the book is we can do version 2, version 3, and we're probably going to because more stories keep coming in. But if you want to share your story and have it in the book or possibly the series, you can also do that at healinghumanity.movie. Everything is there, healinghumanity.movie. There's a little form you can fill out to share your story. So that's where people can find me. If they want to see more of what I'm doing, my YouTube channel is still Homestead How. I started out as a homesteader, but it's pretty much all carnivore content, doctors, individuals, stories, things like that. So if they want to follow me on social media, that's the place to do it.
And I will put all of your links in the show notes. And gee, they are everywhere.
I love it.
I guess that they want to make sure the quality of this is top notch since
Right?
I've got such an amazing guest. Well, going through the comments and just reading all of those stories is so inspiring. I mean, it's been a lot of fun, and it just blows my mind how many people have healed. And, everybody says, oh, it's anecdotal, it's just N of one. Well, there's a whole lot of N's. I'm just going to
Yeah.
say.
That's what we should call the book, Thousands of N1s or something like that.
That's right.
Thousands of anecdotes in quotation marks. Yeah.
Yes, N of one to the N of one power or something. We can figure it out. But yeah, no, I think it's wonderful. And the more stories that we can get out there and the more people that can start living their lives, I mean, that's just so important. Well, Kerry, thank you so much for coming on with me and exploring and damaging everyone. I really think that that's not the case. And Healing Humanity is a wonderful project. And I'm so excited to see the documentary. I can't wait for it to come out and then to see what happens next.
I love it. I appreciate your nice words. I got to tell you, Barb, I've done a lot of interviews. This was awesome. This was incredible. You're meant to do this. I hope you do many more. We got more stories. I'm happy to send some folks your way if you want to do more, but I love what you're doing and I really appreciate you having me on. So thank you.
Oh, that means so much coming from you, and I would love that. Send them my way,
Let's
and
do it.
the cats will approve. Let's see. Here's my most judging cat, and he's
There we go.
approving that.
2 paws up.
All right, thank you so much.
Thanks, Barb. Have a great day.